So I am wearing same shirt, but hair's a little different. But it's like a couple days later since the last time I was uh, saying hello to you, and I realized, well, I wore the same shirt 2 or 3 days later. It happens, right? Anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on. Mm, Craziness, just pure craziness. So I don't know what happens. Maybe some of you can relate, and you can put in the comments when you decide to do something really big and help someone in a big way. I've heard people say that forces come against you, but I didn't realize it would be so intense, and how many things would happen at the same time to converge for the good, the benefit, and some challenging stuff. Like there was just definitely needing more balance. Pretty intense. Nothing horrible. Some things that I would prefer to be different, and I feel like things will work out. So here is the challenge. When you are in the middle of your spiritual journey and you're manifesting, and you've had probably a couple of great days, maybe some epiphanous realizations, you recognize that you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing for the right reasons, and then people who love you, who are in your life, and you think they're supposed to support you, you suddenly realize that they are individuals and they do not agree with you. They are walking their own path, they're doing their own thing, and you can't make assumptions about what they're willing to do for you or with you. Sometimes they won't even agree with you. And if you want to manifest your dreams and what your heart is telling you is meant for you, you can't worry about what other people are thinking or feeling or saying to you. If it conflicts with what your heart knows to be true for you. The mind can justify and make excuses and find reasons. It can analyze and create anxiety or pump you up. But in the end, if you're talking about what feels good to me, it might not feel good to those around you. And I'm not saying you have to let go of people or get rid of them. You have to be prepared to gently disagree, to listen to them as they process their emotions and how they feel about what you're doing. And yes, they might not come along for the ride. I don't mean you're going to lose them. If you don't want someone to move out of your life and they don't want to move out of yours, you will stay in each other's lives, but the nature of your relationship will change. I believe for the better. I've seen it happen for the better, and it's really quite humbling. So I'm coming to you a little bit lower energy today because what I've experienced yesterday and today was really intense. And in helping a family raise them up out of homelessness and get them housed, that was interesting. That was really, really interesting. And it caused a lot of feelings in a lot of people in my life. And it challenged them, kind of, it pushed against them. Um, I'm still processing all of it, and I'm still a little bit down energy, reserved energy, processing some sadness and some hurt and things that I've been, not just me, some people in my life, we have been putting off. And it's getting better now. It's just the challenge is while you're going through it, it's painful. It's difficult. And I think humans like to avoid pain. And if you avoid pain, you're avoiding manifesting your dreams coming true, because there has to be a balance. And when you're clearing a block, it's an emotional journey through that way of thinking and that feeling, that bad habit, whatever it is that source wants to show you. Someone in your life is going to act as that mirror for you, and they're going to bring about something positive, but it might come through a feeling that is uncomfortable or what we consider negative. And I think those are possibly just words that we say when we are uncomfortable and we don't know what else to say or do. We want to avoid anything that makes us upset or angry or sad. And in the past week, especially the past 3 or 4 days, I've heard so many people close to me talk about how they don't want to deal with conflict. Now, I understand you don't want to be yelled at and you don't want to yell at someone else. That might be uncomfortable for you. But sometimes it's necessary. And I think we've given yelling a really bad name. I think we have decided that it's not an acceptable form of being a human, and we equate it with abuse at all times. I think sometimes raising your voice is simply to get yourself heard if you're not normally like that. If it's out of character and you become intense, you have a right to become intense every once in a while. If this is not a pattern of abuse and you're not randomly hurting people or yelling at people to get your way, if this is genuine emotion and you're feeling it just in that moment, I think that's forgivable. What do you think? Is it forgivable to have a momentary blow up with someone, to really get into it and still be able to work through it? I think it's valuable. I think it's valuable if you have hurt feelings, if you have fear, that there's going to be anger, there's going to be defensiveness. And when you suddenly start manifesting and listening to source and not listening to the people who probably were accidentally manipulating you, because if you weren't listening to source, you weren't listening to yourself, you probably were listening to someone in your life, or several someones, or a group of someone's. You were giving your power away. You were giving your choices away. You were allowing other people to lead you. And they're going to lead you to where they want to go. They're going to lead you to what they want to do. It's going to be all about them. So when you suddenly wake up and recognize what it is you truly desire, what you truly want, what your heart is telling you to do, and you act on that, and you listen to the really soft, subtle voice, the whisper of the universe, that gut feeling, that visualized idea that just popped into your head, that oh my gosh, that's the solution, that's the answer, and then you act on it, it causes trouble. It just does. It's going to upset people when they're not used to this new way of you being, this new way of you making decisions and acting. It's going to scare them for a little while. It's going to upset them. It's going to interfere with the way they've been running their life and the decisions they've been making because they've been counting on you for certain things. And some of that is going to be good, and some of that is no longer going to work for you. So you have to understand that there's no real way to prepare for this. I can't tell you to simply be prepared for how this is going to manifest. But I think we have a, um, a sanitized idea of what manifestation is. Because sometimes manifestation is messy and it leads to your darker shadow self. And it leads to pockets of pain and suffering and trauma and sadness that need to be heard and felt and understood and loved and processed and healed. And that's a good thing. Because those are the blocks that have been in the way of manifesting what you truly desire. And what you really, really want, what you really, truly deserve, those things are in the way. Sometimes when you're making pancakes, a few lumps are a good thing. But if your whole batter is nothing but lumps, you're going to make a very bad pancake. So you're going to have to smooth that batter out. And I suppose sometimes that's going to create a little bit of a mess if you're mixing it up, right? You got to mix it up. Pain is a part of life. Being uncomfortable is the feeling of growth. When you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, you're going to feel uncomfortable. It's inevitable. And you will experience conflict with people. But if you can get through the intense part, maybe through that yelling part, especially with your partner, if you can get through that and back into calm talking and comforting each other and understanding one another, and if you have that breakthrough and you come to an understanding and you let your guard down and you tell your truth and someone's there to love you through that process, it's worth it. It is truly worth it. To come to know yourself better, to know the one you love better, to be there to support them and they're supporting you, that's everything. When your desire, when your goal is to manifest loving relationships that are honest, people you can trust and count on, that's what's happening in those moments when you can go from intensity to being gentle and really truly supporting one another, really moving through those emotions. Waiting for you on the other side is a new sense of calm and control and peace, a new wisdom. You just have to be willing to move through the pain. So it's helpful to know that those of us who've been through it, we understand. I understand how you're feeling and how hard it is. Just how intense it is. You know, I got into a conflict with someone yesterday and she called me names. Even I apologized. You know, I had a little, it wasn't even that big of a blow up. It was, I said I was annoyed and overwhelmed. And I said, I can't handle this right now. I'm just too annoyed. I'm too overwhelmed. I can't handle it. You know, bit of an attitude, bit of an intensity. She took it very personally and blew up at me and called me bad names. And that was shocking. I didn't expect that. I was like, wow, I apologized for my outburst. That was rude of you to push back at me that way and swear at me and call me names. That was just not kind. And it only got worse from there. It was terrible. But after we were done with our little tete a tete, we went our separate ways, cooled off, and the person who was with me, when we talked about everything, processed what had just happened, talked everything through, and we had our own stuff that was going on. And by the end of this long, good conversation, some really amazing things happened. Really amazing things. And now new ideas are coming to us, solutions are coming to us, answers are coming to us, new things are manifesting. I mean, it was just, that was last night. Yesterday, some conflict, some resolution, right? And you sleep on it. And the next day, so today, wow. Really, I took it easy, just one step at a time, watching how I speak to people and leveling out my emotions. I made sure to get sleep and hydrate and get some exercise. I'm just becoming way more aware. And in that awareness, there is a place for conflict. There is a place for anger and frustration and sadness. And I used to avoid those emotions and think that part of the idea of manifesting to me was that I wouldn't have to feel those things anymore, and I wouldn't have to go through them anymore, and I would leave them behind, and every moment of my life would just be blissfully happy. And maybe someday in the future that will be the case when I tame my ego more and I take things personally less. I imagine that's what's still going on, that I'm still human and I still have an ego. And I'm still feeling certain ways about certain things. And I'm human. Like, that's going to happen. So I wanted to just pop on and say, you're human too. And it's okay. It's okay if you have a bad moment. It's okay if you lose your temper or get frustrated or feel sad or get frustrated, then lose your temper and then feel sad. It's okay. The universe is going to use all of that for the good. So all of who you are, if you can just, after an outburst, calm down, recenter, see if you can maybe apologize, humble yourself, gain some perspective on the situation, and allow an answer to come. Allow the lesson to unfold. There's something there waiting for you on the other side. Something very good. So when I hear people saying they're afraid of conflict, I understand. I really do. But it's a part of being human, and it's a part of manifesting. If you spend your life avoiding conflict, you're also going to avoid manifesting your dreams, because you're going to have to get out into the world to manifest your dreams and bump into people. And sometimes they might misunderstand you and take things personally. Sometimes you might misunderstand and take things personally. And you might have some conflict here and there. But just know that if you are practicing self-awareness, practicing manifestation principles, and you're becoming aware of you, even when you lose yourself for a moment, when you come back to yourself, things will make more sense to you, and the lessons are valuable. The rewards are worth it. So don't give up. Don't give up if you have a bad moment. You can always restart your day. You can always regroup. You can always take a nap or go to bed early, sleep it off, and start over again with some perspective. But look at it as a gift. Change your mind about those negative emotions and see if what they're really doing is maybe hiding some treasures of truth and some reflections of you that you didn't want to deal with. Maybe pockets of pain that needed you to look at it, process it, and heal it. So no matter what, try to remain grateful. And that's really hard to do when you're angry. So don't, it's okay if you can't do that. I can't. But after you're done being angry and you've processed everything, at some point, at that point, then look back and see what you could be grateful for. All right, until next time, be well.